What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing good. I'd do better if I was unmuted, but yeah, no, doing well, doing well. Just checking out this box, and got a neat little favor here. Little ring light. So I'm gonna work on my glow up. Let's see how we do here. Gonna do a little. Oh, I look good. Better. Amazing.
Look at the glowing eyes on.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Ooh, it's good stuff. All right, look at that. The glow up that PETE&C brings. But yeah, doing well. How about you, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I turned on my ring light, and the AI assistant popped up and said, "Please turn it off. You look better." So
actually, it's me.
Okay. Oops. So I'm adjusting the camera here because we are working remotely live at PETE&C.
There we are at the sweetest place on earth, Hershey, Pennsylvania. So a lot of good stuff going on, and and it's odd because we're going to be talking about some different things, but the weird thing is it's Monday. It's the first Monday.
It's the first Monday, so we're in the first week.
We're in the first week. We're off a day.
There's a lot of football talk to go around.
I guess we did a lot of coaching changes, so I guess we got to have some football talk. But
we have a live audience instead of the virtual live audience. We're like live in person.
How we do. It's exciting, but I don't know. I think it's time for
PAECT Pod.
Let's begin. All right, welcome to the PAECT Pod. We are a show for educators, by educators. PAECT is 100% volunteer-run organization. And, so we're here. This is episode 95 of the PAECT Pod. We are live from PETE&C, and we're doing from creation to curation, podcasting in your classroom. Working on some feedback issues here.
That's why I turned the sound off, so we're working live. There's a delay, but that's okay. We have a live audience.
That's it.
Fire that camera up.
So there we go.
Actually, we do have people seeing it. We have evidence. There are people there. We were broadcasting last week. We broadcast live. It was during lunch, and there was nobody down here in the poster session area. We were down bottom of the steps in the lodge. This is called actually.
Yeah. So popping in, other people popping in. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna mute that mic and just focus on our mics. I think that'll help us a little bit. But yeah, so just to kick off, my name's Eric Verno. I'm the president. This will be my last podcast as president of PAECT, but I'm fortunate to do that. And with me, as always, is my co-host.
I'm Dom Salvucci. I'm the vice president of PAECT until tonight, and then I assume the presidency.
That's it. Done. Unless something happens, he's the next in line. So look out. All right, a lot of good stuff. So we're here to talk about PETE&C, talk about podcasting, talk a little bit about everything. But just to mention that ring light I shared, go to the volunteer booth, go to the PAECT booth. You can get it with your ticket for being part of the conference. So it's awesome stuff. All right, man. So we've got a lot of things going on. We got a lot of people in attendance watching. That's like 4 or 5 people that stop by. Some people said they've seen our sessions, so this will be a little different. But let's talk about podcasting.
Hey, do you guys have any questions? Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the extra equipment.
Did it work out?
Yeah, the other group used them. I'm running with mine. It was just easier. I was having connectivity issues.
Yeah, getting on off the bat. But yeah, no, it's awesome stuff. So yeah. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah.
If you step to your left
and step back up a little bit,
because you're live on camera.
All right, and you are?
I'm Joe McAllister. I'm the education esports expert for Insight.
And he's also a football fan. We had a good football talk conversation when we were talking about the equipment.
I'm a Detroit Lions fan, therefore I have to be a general football fan because in recent or in storied past, our season's over early most of the time. So
yeah, well,
I had to understand other teams and their dynamics in order to continue to watch football. So
hey, as a Dolphins fan, you've had more success than I've had. So we gave up on DC. We showed up, and you got coach Campbell Love, and you did a great job there. So that's pretty good.
You guys had Ben Johnson too, the Bears coach. He was part of the Dolphins org.
They get their start with us, and then you can only go up from there. That's what we're all about.
So Chargers are the Super Bowl next year. Is that
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Daniel's going to do a heck of a job.
Okay.
Listen,
Very
good
good.
coordinators will always make good head coaches. You know, look at McDaniel with the Patriots. Horrible trainers. Back in the Patriots where he was great before, he's going to do a great job. So it's wild.
Denver or the Raiders? Or
Yeah. Honestly, he was not a good head coach.
True.
or
Yeah.
the 20 minutes where he was the Indianapolis coach?
Yeah. Belichick. Oh, hey. Like Belichick can sign with the Jets, and then, I would.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
I forgot to put a dot over the I in Belichick, so the contract is null and void. I'm going there.
Yeah, wild. Yeah. So who are you rooting for the Super Bowl?
Honestly, a good game.
I think it's going to be really do.
As a Steeler fan, I got to go against New England. Because that would give them more than Pittsburgh has.
Fair, very fair. But no, I like Vrabel. I like the way he did things in Tennessee. I think he got a real raw deal there.
Yeah. Oh, he did. And he was a linebacker. Pittsburgh drafted him, I think, like in the 3rd round.
Oh, okay, I know that.
They couldn't really – he was a hybrid because we were in that 3-4. He was a hybrid, undersized edge rusher, and they couldn't figure out what to do with him. We cut him. He ended up going to New England, catching touchdowns and playing better.
Yeah,
Now he's coaching there.
No, and then like the Sam Darnold story is awesome. You know? That's pretty cool. And like either team is like only defense or only offense, so it's a pretty cool Super Bowl, honestly.
And I laugh because I always make fun of the Inzer News in Pittsburgh because something will happen somewhere in the world, and it comes down to we're interviewing someone live who, once you Google Maps, Google Earth, and saw that section of the world in Google Earth, and you're like, yeah, I was like on my computer, and I didn't realize that was in another country, but I saw pictures on Google Earth, and they had to put it, and I saw, my great picture drafted him, just go find that connection. Like, he was with us at one time.
But the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Yes.
but for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I like it.
Yeah, a lot of that going on. Yeah, always makes for interesting stuff, though. Always makes for interesting.
I appreciate you loaning us the equipment because
Sure.
we didn't have as many people as we thought last year. Some of the groups had more people who made equipment for this year. Tomorrow they're going to do some interviews and such, so it'll definitely come into play. Yeah, you guys will be right around the corner.
Hanging out.
If you're watching today, the esports experience is still going on upstairs.
Yeah.
In the vendor hall in the back corner. Tomorrow they'll be around the corner from us in the hallway here. Great scenario to watch kids do esports.
The kids are wrapping up the Mario Kart finals.
Oh, yeah.
20, 30 minutes.
Nice.
I believe you guys took my tech director, and Michael Coleman is shoutcasting the event.
Yeah, that was super cool. Also, someone brought their Raspberry Pi and we're playing Tecmo Bowl. So if you want to throw back.
Nice.
Classic.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All day.
I told the guy who brought it, you can't be Bo Jackson. Not allowed.
How we love that
Not allowed to be Bo Jackson. Okay?
That's awesome. All right, well, listen, if you got some chairs that you don't want to take back with us, let us know. All right, man, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Before you go,
Oh, it's going to give him a theft deterrent device.
Anti-theft device, put this on your phone and people will not take it if you realize what pictures are on.
Excellent.
No, I can do it. There you go.
that's even on the big screen upstairs around they have our sticker pictures on the big screen throughout the lodge.
I'll leave you just for it.
All right, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So, our unplanned guest there. I like it. All right. Good stuff. All right, man. So, we're here at PETE&C. We're talking about podcasting in the classroom, curation to creation. And Yeah, so our big thing is we're doing a live video podcast and we always talk about our hardware and things that we're using. So what things are you using right now for your setup, Dom?
I have the Razer Pro Kaya Razer camera. I got the mic. I always use the Rode, but it is on a stand instead of the big swing arm because we have a big room, but we have a small table we're working with. And then I have an IPVO camera hooked up to my Chromebook for school. The nice thing about StreamYard is it's web-based, so you don't have to download anything. So you can run it on mobile devices. You can run it on Chromebooks. I'm using a MacBook Pro. You have?
All right, I'm playing with the muting, so we're not getting background music. So, yeah, so I've got the Rode Pod mic. I normally have the USB-C version at home. I left that here. I've got the kind that's got the aux cable in the back, but it goes to USB-C, works just great. And I'm just running off of a webcam, and I just have my headsets just to kind of help with the feedback and to make sure I'm getting the volume right in my ears. But yeah, so you could do it with the webcam. It doesn't have to be fancy stuff. Even the Razer Keo Pro, when we found it, $99 is what that goes for. If you said the prices, I didn't hear you. And then the pod mics go for about $100. So for $200, you get a little bit better with the sound. Now, one thing that we have is Dom and I are pretty close. If I was doing this in a classroom setting, we'd have more than a table, maybe a second table, separate us out a little bit because it is a directional mic, but it still picks up a little bit of the background. And then for the third angle that we have on the screen, what are you using, Dom?
That is the IPVO. It's one of the IPVO cameras. Technically, it's a document camera, but it's great for, and they're not expensive at all. It's great for Zoom meetings and other setups. I use it, when I used it throughout when we had COVID as a camera in my classroom for teaching. And, I'll use it as an extra camera in this case, it's hooked up to the Chromebook. So they're very versatile. I don't have a headset on. I just cut my speakers. I'm kind of winging it from that standpoint. But whenever I broadcast in the classroom, I set the kids up on other sides of the room, and that way we don't have to worry about feedback back and forth. And I have another IPVO camera at school, and then I'll use the webcam on a computer, like a student's computer, and we use StreamYard for that. If I'm doing just the audio podcasting, I use Soundtrap, and I have I forget the name. I bought, it was like a $45 camera that I ran through school budget, and I put that out, and the kids will sit out in the hall and we'll run. I have what I learned or what I did in Sal's class this week for my class podcast, and the kids come out, first name, one thing you learned in class, it's a side quest, extra bonus points, and one thing they learn, and they go over, and sometimes they'll explain a little bit more, and then other students ask, can they do different segments? We have like joke of the week, we had a riddle of the week, and they wanted to switch it to would you rather, keep it school appropriate, and they record in Soundtrap. I pull it over and drop it into my podcast for my classroom. So there's all different kinds of ways you can do it, and it's easy for them to work with.
Yeah, I was trying to go in and see if we had that. We used to have that Soundtrap link to be able to give people a 90-day process. I'm not sure if that's live anymore. We'll have to look at that.
Try it out because my contact there is no longer with the company. So I reached out to some people, but I haven't heard back yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. So when I'm having the kids make things, the Soundtrap, there is a free version, gives you so many days. I have them just doing video. They could do it just recording, even screen sharing with a Chromebook. And I just have like Kensington headphones with a little mic built in. It's not works with noise cancellation and things of that nature when they're recording, but it doesn't have to be all these different features. You're literally just getting the audio, and you can have them pull it over into whatever they want. But again, in our school, we're Chromebooks, and there's a lot of built-in software. So I jokingly show the kids how to do, hey, let's do how do you have it record your screen, do like a little video, annotate it. I'm like, oh, you're like a Twitch streamer, except you're not live. You're just recording it. They'll put it in, save it into Google Drive. Then I'll pull that in. I can pull it and create it in StreamYard to push it out. I can make it in Clipchamp to push it out. We can use GarageBand to kind of push it out, which is just going to be audio. So there are plenty. Audacity. You want to use a free PC? I don't even know. I think Audacity is a Mac version and a Linux version. So you can even use that free to kind of pull their audio clips together to push out. But then if you want to get to the point where you're doing some video, even if so we love StreamYard, and we do have, when this post goes out, there will be a link, a referral link. You'll get X amount of days of the pro version, but the free version alone. So when we click this, so you'll notice in the top corner, we put our PACT logo, right? Because that's who we're representing. If you're using the free version, you get the Mallard. So it's just the StreamYard Mallard version. Hi, Diane. And hey, good to be seen. So if you back up a little, we'll get you on camera. You're on camera right there. You're live. Say hello.
The lighting's not great, but hi. PETE&C.
Yeah, Hey. Yeah, good to see her back active. Yeah, good to see you. Hey, that's okay. That's what it's all about. That's it. All right, you too. All right, always it's a great time to see. It's like a family event. Friends that you just hung out with a couple months ago, friends from the past. It's always good to see people. But just to continue, you see that little watermark of the Mallard. So if you're using the free version with your kids, that's the limitation. The time of what you're able to do, about how long of a video, it's a limitation. But really, if you're doing a classroom podcast, we talk a lot. You don't want to make it as long as we talk, Yeah, so you're able to crank that out. And then I'm trying to think of other things as far as pulling in the different things. And honestly, it's really no big deal and what you're able to do.
And I tell my students, because I run a student-run talk show, internet talk show, What's Up New Brighton. And I went from having the kids 2 periods, 4 to 5 days a week, to 20 minutes a month. So I have kids in and out. Some kids are in my classes. Some have moved beyond my classes. But you can record, use the phone on your camera. You can, record audio files. You can go into Canva, because Canva is free for educators. Go in, record stuff there. Share it through either Canva or upload it if you're a Google school, or if you're a Microsoft school, upload it into the Common Drive. You can pull it down and push out audio files. The audio recorder on your phone. There's multiple ways of doing it. You don't have to be in the same room. They can record, upload it to a Common Drive. You can pull it down, and with StreamYard, pull the files in, line them up. Canva you can use, which is free, do the same thing. Or like with Soundtrap, or as we said, Audacity, other programs, pull it in. And GarageBand, put them in however you want. Soundtrap allows you, it has music that you're allowed to create. You can do sound, music. I let the kids pull that in. Other kids who are musically inclined can make music. The one student last year showed me how to play a little keyboard. So I play 70s British sci-fi music when the kids walk in certain days. I hit certain keys and it makes funky sounds, and kids are like, okay, what's weird going on? I'm like something strange today. And I just play that music from way back in the day. And so there's a lot of tools. They're free or inexpensive. You can work with what the kids have. And let's face it, the kids do this anyway with TikTok, Instagram, Reels. They're already creating content. Show them how to do it appropriately and put it towards an educational purpose. Broadcast, show the things your school's doing and what's going on, that positive things in your community. Let them be a beacon of light in everything that's going on. Hey, here's what's going on. Here's what we have going on at school. Gives them a digital footprint, a positive digital footprint.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of having them create the audio, even if they're creating video on their cameras and storing it, is you can kind of view it, you can kind of check it out. You can, you can edit it, preview it, make sure everything's good, send it back to them. And honestly, now with they can even if you have the kids that don't want to necessarily be on camera, you got Google Notebook LM. They can literally type it up, upload it, and have it create a little mini podcast for them. Take that audio and then dump it in. And again, you're using it by that. But the benefits of Soundtrap, as Don was saying, with music and stuff, and my man loves his sounds and his music. But it's the copyright is eligible sometimes we use Ben sounds for our intro video and our outro video. Early on, we kept getting flagged, and we had to say, like, in our stuff, like, we pulled it from Ben Sound. Ben Sound is a royalty free. We're allowed to use it for our use kind of thing. And then, YouTube doesn't hit it. And just so you know, we got storage. We got some Samsung monitor boxes up here. So, yeah, we got fancy dicks here in the podcast suite. So, yeah.
And, with everything going on with this, it's a lot of background. I lost track of what you were saying with the one topic, and I will find it in a second in my head. It has been a hectic week. Fit days all week, snowstorms, digging out, running the snowblower, family illness, all kinds of stuff. It has been a whirlwind week, then a 3.5 to 4 hour drive across the state to get here Saturday. But back to the projects. I do group work, and I let students pick their own groups. I ran into issues back in the day whenever I would say you have to, I would pick groups, and if you have a student who doesn't do work and the group suffers, I was catching flack that how come, my son or daughter has a bad grade because they were doing work and the other person wasn't. And they had a fair argument. So even whenever I tried to balance it out with, okay, give me a writing, what did you do, this and that, and give them participation grades, it still wasn't fair. So I let the students pick their own groups. I do encourage them not to always, and I will sometimes say you can't pick someone who you've worked with already. I might put that qualification in. But I tell them, I said, if you pick someone and they don't do work, you can't come back and complain to me because you chose your groups. And the same if people don't want to work with you, why is that? You have to work this out. And I encourage the kids, but if a student doesn't want to be on camera or have their voice on the audio, tell them you'll find someone who will be willing to be on screen, and you can partner that way. Because there's some people that they don't mind hamming it up, they don't mind being on camera, they're not big into the writing and such, so they can partner up and collaborate. But I encourage them to, work in all aspects, and even if when they're done, even if they didn't do a lot of writing and such, they have to write a reflection. Here's what I did with the group. Here's how I contributed. And then they give me feedback also on the project. So that helps across the board. But there's different ways around because not everyone's going to want to be on camera. And, same with the presentations here. When I first started, I was not comfortable in front of groups. And now you can't shut me up.
Now he just makes other people uncomfortable with all the yapping and talking that he does. And it's the same as if you're doing in science, you have different engineering roles. You've got your mechanical, your chemical, your electrical, as far as engineering goes, where they're doing different jobs, or in the group work, you have your note taker, you have your speaker, you have your person who's organizing the things. There's a lot of times I share out a doc, I have the kids share with their group, and I say that student's the promo commander, and their job is to share it out with everybody in their group, so they all have access to that same doc. I have access to the doc. So take your classroom model, whatever you're already doing for group work, and just apply it for podcasting, and having the kids work through. So, yeah, that's good ideas.
Now, earlier today, there was another group in here podcasting, Change Ed, and there were some other people I was talking with them while Change Ed was getting ready to set up and such. And some people go live. They do their morning announcements live. Our school does morning announcements recorded, and they script everything out, go from there, and edit and push things out. Some people go live with it. We go live. Other podcasts record and edit. My podcast at home, I record and I push it out on Saturdays for the students. It's I keep the same format. The kids are good with it. I do the introduction. Here's what we're going to talk about. I do usually a student email. I call them side quest points. Enrichment, asking questions. They come up to me, send me a message in Schoology, send me an email. Sometimes they'll just be talking, and sometimes I just make it up. Hey, I got name and period withheld due to student confidentiality. Something they need to know. I have an email. You mentioned this was going to happen. What's going on? I answer it. Then I do the what I learned in class. Then I give my review of here's what we did. So that way, if parents are uncertain or students are absent, it's in Schoology. They can talk to their friends. There's a podcast. Here's what we did. I take the notes. I use that Notebook LM. I take the notes and put it a PDF of what we discussed in class in Schoology. I use Notebook LM, and I have an audio summary and a video summary. So and I showed the kids, like, pull the PDF discussion, play the audio or play the video. It overlaps. It's like you're sitting in class. So they have that information. Then I put the podcast out. It's kind of overkill. But if I go into a parent meeting, like, we don't know what's going on. Like, well, here's the sources we have. Plus, you can email me at any time or call me. Email's better because I can respond. If kids are in the room, I don't have to worry about being able to talk when they play phone tag with people. It's the various tools. So I push that out with the kids and, keep that format. Go over, here's what we did, student segment. Then we do a preview the next week, and I do goofy dad jokes. That annoys the students, which makes me happy. Actually, they by one period came up with asked for a banned word list. I'm like, well, what words don't you want to say? Like, it's for you. The whole 6, 7, I ran into the ground and then some. And they were like, things you can't say anymore, because I was taking the little tricks and the sayings they liked and made them uncool. So, I go through those segments, a preview, then I do a disclaimer for, like, this is my thoughts and whatnot. It's not the schools. And I also put, like, some public service messages, talk about PAECT, 211.org, which is help for people in need. Like, there's people out there. So even if it's not one of my students, we do have a wide variety of students and a wide variety of socioeconomic status in our district. Talk about that. 511 PA, which is the travel app for PA with the road conditions this time of year. You never know what you're getting into. And just some other websites and tools they should use, and like school announcements, things like that. But I keep a common form, so as kids are listening, if they don't need to hear the whole thing, they know where they could jump to. So,
yeah, I like that. The band list. It's interesting. It's very creative of your students, and unfortunately, they won't ban anything. They won't ban mistakes because they want to get their donuts from you. As one of the people watching here live was asking about, do you really, get donuts for your kids? And how many donuts have you gotten? So, yeah, definitely way too many that we truly want to count. But I know this week, both my math classes this past week, one was treated Thursday, the other group was treated Friday. So they enjoyed their donut holes. But yeah, it's always a good time there. So a lot of good stuff. So I know we have a guest here. She was on the side and had some questions. Do you have any specific questions about podcasting? So she's got the awesome opportunity of a little bit extra. So you can go on camera. You don't have to. It's totally up to you.
So my question was just like troubleshooting, like what are some, bits of advice you could give to somebody who's just starting podcasting in the library? I know I was picking up some of the recommendations you guys gave about some of the free stuff, but like maybe common trip-ups, like I can try to avoid.
I learned in class this week is, say your first name, just give me one thing you did or one thing you learned. You don't have to go long. Be like, 10 seconds, especially for the kids who are shy, but they're out there for 15 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? I keep goofing up. But that's okay. Like, and teachers have that fear. I remember when I was a tech coach, they want to master the technology before they roll it out to the kids. The students want to make it perfect. And I'm like, you obviously don't listen to the podcast because I stumble through it. The ums, the ahs, the whatevers, and mispronunciations. It's part of life. So as long as it's not inappropriate, it's okay if you make a mistake. And that's something the kids are very self-conscious about because they don't want to look bad, for a public audience. What do you have to say on that, Eric?
All right. So, I think we've talked about this before. We're on episode 95. And we would have been at 195, but we had the paralysis by analysis and waiting for the perfect name. I mean, we had so many names. PAECT Pod, We're PACT, it's a podcast. It's not that creative, but we finally got to the point where we were so focused on having everything set up perfectly that we drug our feet for a little over 2 years. And finally we're like, you know what? Let's just do it. Like, and do the thing. So like, whether it's a teacher trying to do something in their classroom, whether it's a student doing stuff, as Don was saying, the mistakes and all that, like, that's okay. The imperfections are part of the whole fail forward, all of that deal. But when you wait so long trying to think of the perfect time, you're going to miss all your opportunities, you know? So that to me is the biggest trip up for any project, especially podcasting. There's so many people, you know, I think back to like, gosh, David Warlick was a really big, you know, ed tech guy back when Kathy Schrock was getting into it, back when I was a KTI. Like, I had so many ideas. If I would have started on them then, I'd be so far down the line with doing different things. Now you see some people who've been doing it and like they're more acclaimed or they're more known. And you're like I had that idea like 2 years before them. The difference is they pressed go and I didn't, you know? And so that to me, that's a real big one. And
You know, it's
Oh, I muted myself. But the PowerPoint analogy, when PowerPoint first came out, you'd be in a computer lab and there'd be a student there for a week working on a title slide, but no content behind it because they wanted that perfect title slide, but they never got the project done. It's like, don't worry about the title slide. Get started. It may not be perfect, but you're creating content, you're learning, and as time goes on, it should smooth out and get better. And that's the way to approach it. You know, when we would do senior speeches, the students would sit there like in the middle of the senior speech, like, like stupid, like what's going on? I skipped a line. Like, we didn't know that. Like, we don't know what you're going to say. So if you make a mistake, just roll with it. And we don't know. Like, we don't know you made a mistake. Just go. And people aren't going to know on a lot of these, you know, that you skipped a line or you forgot something until afterwards. And if you do, you could say, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention. It's just, you know, we try and keep it conversational. And, you know, sometimes we ramble too much. But it's part of who we are, and you just have to be yourself. Where I don't want to spend, and most people don't have time. I always say life gets in the way of life. Don't have time to sit and go through and edit and take everything out and mute every segment and splice things down, because you have other things to do, and we're a 2-person show. So, and we try and get guests on and stuff, but it's time's limited. Now we do ahead of time. We'll go through and we'll focus and we'll plan. What do we want to talk about? And we usually do like the first episode of the month, it's just us, and then we do the second episode is we try and have a guest on, unless special occasions come up, and we'll juggle the schedule, and we'll use Microsoft Loop. We tried different tools to organize Google Docs. I use Google Docs for my classroom podcast. That's my script, and I just copy it over and edit it. It takes me, because I have the format, 15, 20 minutes. We tried Notion. We tried some other things because Google Docs wasn't working with us because there was too much going on and 2 people working with it, and it was just getting gummed up. So we use Loop, and we organize it. Here's what we're going to do to scale it back and general ideas. We don't do like a full script, but like, what do we want to talk about this week? And are we going to talk about tech notes or tech tools, tech news? Are we going to, you know, we usually talk about sports or something, and just kind of give us an outline. And then one of us, inevitably, about 55 minutes, will also be like, we're getting long, or sometimes we're looking and say, oh, crap, it's an hour and 10 minutes. Try and keep it 45 minutes to an hour, more likely an hour. We had Coy Bowles on one time, and we had him on for 2 hours. It was like sitting around a campfire with one of your friends, like someone you've known your entire life. And we actually talked for 45 minutes or so before He's like, we're not recording yet. I'm like, we actually go live. We were just doing the mic check and stuff. We started talking, and he would have stayed on, but he had young kids, and it's like, you have to get back to your life. We would love to. Like, we would stay on all night and talk with you, but you have important stuff to do besides talking with us, and it was fantastic. So for those like special guests, we try and be, aware of their time and their sacrifice. But yeah, we love having them on. Otherwise, like, we'll tell some people like they're not used to being on the podcast and they're not that comfortable. 10, 15 minutes, or as long as you want to go, and we'll send out like an email. Here's what we usually ask, but you tell us what you want to talk about because you know more about your topic than we do. That's why we're having you on, and we'll conversation guide the questions. Give me some guiding questions, and we'll build off of it. And as we talk, we'll follow through and let the guests drive it because we're having them on for them to talk, not to talk about us, but to talk about themselves or what they're doing. StoryCorps is a public website, and they're doing like an oral history collection. And I do over the holidays, starting around Thanksgiving, I make that a side quest. Family traditions, it could be audio or video. And what are your family traditions? Pittsburgh's very diverse, very ethnic. So, like, what are the different traditions? And then also, since I teach U.S. history from World War II to modern era, I'm like, anything before 1975. Interview family members, talk about the town, school appropriate, things that were in the community, that how, like, what kids used to do, or what stores, what was the town like back in the day. And then we do that. They have the option to put it up on StoryCorps, but I push it out through I have a class YouTube channel. And then I also have I do like my stuff out on one channel and my student work on another. And then same with the podcast and stuff, the audio files. So there's my stuff. And then I give my students credit. And they're like, well, why? I go, because it's your creation. It's not mine. It's yours. So you have ownership over it. And we do it that way. But I think that's fantastic. I told them I get choked up whenever I go over this with my students. We used to hang out at my grandpaps and my buddies. Even when we were like out of college, we'd go over and visit my grandparents, and we'd hang out. And my grandfather would be telling us stories from way back in the day, and I pass those stories on. I'm getting a little bit choked up as I talk about this. It's been a rough week, but I pass those stories on to my niece and my nephew, my daughter. My buddies, we all tell the stories, but my grandfather's voice isn't there anymore. So they're hearing it through me. I know those stories by heart because I've heard them for so many years and I've told them, but they can't hear his voice. And that's what's missing. But we had cassette recorders. And my grandfather wasn't going to be the type of person to sit there and talk to a cassette recorder. He wanted to talk to us. And the recording quality wasn't that great. I still have cassette recorders, much to my wife's dismay. But, I don't have his voice, and that's something that's missing. I tell them with your phones, use them. Like, don't just make TikToks and, troll people, but record it. And then you have the story, but you also have their voice, their image. Yeah. So, it's a powerful tool. And those are things that, it's important. Always look to the future, but honor the past. And that's, something that this technology allows us to do. And there's plenty of places to store. Spotify for creators is free. I use Podbean for my school podcast, but I pay a nominal fee for that. I used it before Spotify came around, and eventually I should go in to Podbean, download my stuff, and put it over on Spotify and not pay, but that's a lot of work. And I debate, do I want to lose all the past episodes, or do I want to keep, and it's just something Anchor became Spotify. They were bought out because Anchor FM was phenomenal when it first came out. You could just go on your phone. And my daughter was little, and we go to the coffee shop, and she would go sit at a different table, so she wasn't right next to me, and she would have her iPad or whatever, and she'd have a book, and we would do book reviews or stuff, and we just talk back and forth. I'd be on the other side of the coffee shop doing work, and we record podcasts and push them out. And now they got bought out by Spotify, bought them out, and I think it's Riverside is what it became. But yeah, and there's and it's just start doing it, and the kids will get into it. And even students who might be hesitant, like Eric said, let them have a background and making artwork for for the podcast or whatever, for the video transitions. Eric does the transitions for our lives, the video stream, and I showed the kids, like, here's how you can do stuff with Canva, and they were making different things and making exploding letters. They were having a ball. Yeah, can we do this? I'm like, as long as it's school appropriate. I'm only here to make sure I don't get fired and you go to jail. Like, we're not going to do anything illegal. Not going to do anything that's going to get you in trouble. But this is your palette. Like, work with it. And it gives them they enjoy the ownership and the freedom.
And I was going to throw that out about Canva because, again, it's free for kids. All the stuff you can do. And they're working and building in a video and an audio component. So they're going to eventually where the kids are going to be able to do it right within that app. But right now, it's just what you're able to do, again, with the video transitions, putting out different things. It's got the little AI components in it, to make. But, like, again, when you're working in like we talked about doing a rotational model with podcasting. And, like, one station, they would work on writing out a script. The next station would work on your backgrounds, your different scenes, your transitions. And then the third station, they would work on some audio, pulling some of the finished scripts, and they would prepare the audio. Or you could kind of set up maybe whether you do a fourth station, and that's where they're compiling it all. That's where those kids are putting it together. And then, so you do, like, on Monday, they're all in that station. And then on Tuesday, they shift one. So I was doing script on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm working on backgrounds and effects. On Wednesday, I'm working on some, voiceovers. And on Thursday, I'm working on compiling. However you do it, there's different ways, but really having the kids involved at all. Then after they get to experience that, some kids, their niche is going to be video. Their niche is going to be that artistic side. They don't want to be in front of the camera. They want to be behind the camera doing stuff. They want to write that script out. So there's ways where you can kind of pull in their different talents and utilize it that way. But with the resource, whether it's Canva, which I love, for like partial to it, but Adobe has their version, right? All that stuff going out with Adobe. So you've got those different avenues to be able to work. But again, the number one word that teachers love, free, right? We love free.
And you also have, I think Canva does have an AI audio. So if a student doesn't want to talk, they can type in and have the voiceover. Suno AI is royalty free. Kids can make their own songs and pull that in if they don't want to use them, like in Soundtrap or wherever else. And I think there is audio that you can pull that's royalty free in Canva, but you can go have them make their songs in Suno, pull them in and drop them into Canva. So there's enough free tools out there, or freemium tools that they can work with things and make high-end creations you couldn't do back whenever I started teaching in the 90s.
When they make videos or they make whatever, you put it on Drive and then share the links and embed it on a Google site. I don't know if you're a Google district, or you can make a YouTube and make it private, but only somebody with the link can view the video. And again, a great venue to be able to show the kids is making the Google site. Put your stuff in there. They can go on, and it's whether it's first period, second period, third period, and what they're doing, and kind of make it internal. That's a really cool opportunity to be able to utilize that. Again, they're publishing it for an audience, but it's not global, but it's still larger than their classroom, right? Yeah, their mom and dads can see it, bring it home, have it on the Chromebook, have them put it on the table, present it during dinner or whatever, and show it, or And then you work on going bigger from there and looking at what your school policies are with different things and sharing. So yeah, but it's a cool endeavor. And again, it hits a lot of the different, just some of those different like skill sets and some of those different like interests the kids have. Because again, they're watching the TikToks, they're watching all the reels on all the different socials. So this is your ability to kind of make that and work with that. Yeah, that is huge.
Yeah, and depending on what age, I have high school, so they're old enough to be on the internet, and we send the papers home for the parents and everything. But I was at Western Pennsylvania Council of Teachers of English Conference. It was either last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. And they had, instead of like the book reviews, they were doing book TikToks. And they weren't putting it on TikTok, but they were making these like little short videos and acting out segments. You could do the same with history or other topics where, okay, explain this concept. And you can pull in Notebook LM to make something. You have to script it out and give them the information. Let it do it. Or you can make a little TikTok, or you can, do a screencast using Canva and create things. So there's a lot of opportunity for different ways to assess, formative assessment, summative assessments, besides testing. But you can make it fun, make it creative. You have kids that, some kids will want to do stuff digitally for me. Other students are excellent artists, and they will draw things out, and then you can digitize that so you get the best of both worlds. And they can drop that in, even if they do artwork on paper or some other medium. Hello, sir. You're on camera. If you walk past, you can stand back a little bit. Oh, you're allowed to be. You're allowed to be. But yeah, that's, those are different ways that you can do. And so if students are really good artists, but they're not a digital artist, have them put it on paper and with the phones, or scan it with a computer, and you digitize it, and they can contribute that way. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is like with that, like them making something and showing it, the doc cam that Dom has there and he's using, then use it as a doc cam. But you could do it live, have it down, and the kids can put their thing under it. We've often talked about having another camera and doing it like that when we're doing demos, like here's how you do it on the computer, here's how you do it on your phone. And they can see like on it. So the kids can have their drawings, and still the digital version is it's going to video, right? Or if you put like StreamYard that we use on your phone, you can access as a separate, wireless camera that you can pull in. There's a lot of different apps that work that way. But again, as basic as whatever webcam that your school already has,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Very excited. I'll definitely keep you guys posted.
And pod at PAECT.org, or Eric.Burno at PAECT.org, Dominic.Salvucci, PAECT.org. A little bit longer, but please keep in touch with us. Let us know how it goes. We'd love to have you on the podcast and see how your project comes along.
A lot of good stuff. Very active poster sessions going on. A lot of good stuff going on there. Yeah, a lot of neat, interesting facts shared, and really good.
Yeah, I checked out the poster sessions this morning. I was down here. Checked the Remake Learning Room, RemakeLearning.org. Fantastic organization. They have Remake Learning Days coming up. We usually have them on the podcast in early April. It started out Western Pennsylvania, grew across Pennsylvania. Now it's international. I think it's at over 1,000 events, April into early May. Free. Most of them are free. Some have a nominal fee for supplies and such. But it's not necessarily technology oriented. It's creative thinking oriented. We've done story walks. We've done reading night under the lights, different activities, outdoor activities, indoor activities, art walks, all kinds of cool stuff. People checking out STEAM labs and maker spaces. As I said, most of the events are free. Check that out. RemakeLearningDays.org. RemakeLearning.org is the organization. They have all kinds of hands-on crafts going on, and made little bow tie, and then also made a candle. And the candle was free range beeswax. I made sure it was free range bees. You put the wick through, roll it up. It was pretty cool. Although I can't take it through an airport because it looks like an old-timey stick of dynamite from the westerns I watch.
It does. It did. It did. Now that you say it, yep, it did. So I was trying to look free-range bees. Is that really a thing? I think you made it up. You made it up.
So like, if I wanted to like play shenanigans, you could put it in someone's backpack if you know they're going to the airport.
Oh yeah, yeah. The TSA can confiscate that.
But
That's fine.
yeah,
All right.
there's a lot going on here. The poster sessions are great. The other sessions that are going on that are formal sessions, people giving presentations. As Eric said before, we used to do that, but there were so many sessions going on that were phenomenal. People that put in. Space was very limited, so instead of doing multiple sessions, we decided to just do this session, kind of keep everything online, and give up space for other people. Because there's so much going on. We had the pre-cons yesterday, KTI pre-con. You had Ed Camp. Formally, it started today. We go all day tomorrow, and then Wednesday morning we wrap up at lunch.
Yeah, and if you're around PETE&C tonight, we've got the meet and greet for PAECT board members. A ticketed event, but after that, from 8 till 11, we have procedural safeguards band playing and a cornhole tournament. Check social media. There's been QR codes for you to sign up with Scoreholio app, and I think it's $15 to join that. So a lot of good stuff there. So yeah, we're hitting the 50-minute mark. I think we're gonna record some video to be able to share later, but I want to take this opportunity to thank one of our main sponsors who we are actually going to be, we're going to have Toddle on this month to talk about their amazing AI built LMS app. And yes, we're going to have the co-creators of that to be able to be on because they're going to be doing a conference here at the end of February, right where we are in this little area in the Hershey Lodge. And they're going to be doing a leadership summit. I had the opportunity to go to New York City and represent Pennsylvania and PAECT, and now they're bringing it here. And we're going to have a lot of our local PAECT leaders and some of our PA Edge partner program, their partner association. They're going to have some of their leaders there to talk a lot about different things that are going on in education. So I wanted to take this moment to share with you a little bit more about Toddle. Here we go.
With Toddle, you can design your entire curriculum end-to-end, from courses and units to lesson plans and assignments, all in one place. At every step of the curriculum design process, you are supported by our AI-powered curriculum design assistant, the most advanced tool of its kind in the world. It helps you generate thoughtful course outlines, suggests learning experiences, creates differentiated tasks, and more. And all of this in just minutes. Once your plans are in place, Toddle's curriculum maps and analytics offer a clear, comprehensive view of your program, making it easy for teaching teams to stay aligned and for school leaders to make informed decisions.
All right. Well, we truly appreciate Toddle as a sponsor of PAECT. And but I think we're going to be kicking it here at the end. We got about 54 minutes in. I think we're going to end the live show, and I think we're going to record anybody who's interested in coming down and being interviewed, talk about your PETE&C experience, what you've been doing. What do you think, Dom?
Sounds like a plan. We're going to hit some of tried recording earlier today at the poster sessions, but it was packed, and I didn't want to take time away from attendees interacting with the presenters. So we'll try and walk around and get some of that information. A lot going on. And maybe we just record from a distance and zoom in and talk without getting the presenters on if they're busy talking with others. There's a lot of great information. Check it out. If you ever get a chance to come to PETE&C, please try and come to PETE&C. Ton of information.
Yeah, and next year, PETE&C is actually not in the sweetest place on earth. It is in the Poconos and Kalahari's. An opportunity for you to get to experience what that facility is like. A little bit Some areas a little bit bigger, but it's definitely a beautiful area of the Poconos. So an opportunity for you to check out. So awesome stuff. So yeah, we truly appreciate those people that were able to catch live, a couple of comments that were, and we appreciate everybody who was out watching. And a lot of people were hiding off camera just to watch it. So they were on the big camera, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we want to thank our sponsors, and remember, as always, PAECT,
We are
the voice of entertainment media,
and beyond.
All right. Thanks to our sponsors.
Take care, everybody.
PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors. Our Tier 3 sponsors, EduSpire, Tech the Next Step. Our Tier 2 sponsors, ClassLink, more time learning, less time logging in. Teachers First. Sam Labs, engaging and effective K-8 STEM and STEAM educational solutions. Lego Education. Toddle, teacher built, AI first, more than an LMS. Once again, PAECT and the PAECT Pod would like to thank all of our sponsors for the support that allow us to do what we do. Thank you.